You're in a meeting and things are going fine. And then suddenly out of nowhere, someone questions a decision. They call you out on something. They twist the facts. You immediately shift your mindset into defensive mode. You start clarifying, explaining, but you don't realize it. The room has shifted against you. It's something that senior leaders know not to do, because the minute you start acting defensive or trying to explain yourself, you're validating the potential that it is true. And the fact is, it's not about truth and it's not about right or wrong. It's about status. And once you get that, you'll understand the next steps that I'm going to explain to you in a moment. Hi, I'm John Firth, and I coach CEOs and senior executives on strategic thinking, leadership, and working under pressure. And if there's one thing I've learned, is that those who keep power are those who stay calm the longest. These sort of events, most people think, are about the facts, about getting it right. But it's not. It's about emotional and political positioning. And unfortunately, smart people usually fall into that trap. They want to clarify. They want to make sure that everybody understands the reality and the truth. But that is exactly the opposite of what has to happen. They think if I just explain it, people will understand and I'll win them over to my side. No, that's courtroom logic. That's not the emotional skills, emotional human beings with a business suit on or with just business casual. Now, I had a boss at Discovery, really a very good boss, and she told me something very interesting that she had learned, which was as soon as the hot light or the hot potato comes over to your side, you immediately, instead of answering, move something in front of you. Move a glass of water, maybe a notebook, a pen, and that distracts long enough so that you don't have to say anything for a couple of seconds. It also tends to temper it and push it away from you so that when you speak, one, you're ready to not defend yourself, but to say something like I'm about to show you. And more importantly, the audience is primed to hear something different. So here comes the sentence. If somebody corners you emotionally in a meeting, what you say is, hold on. What did you say specifically? That interrupts the momentum, much in the way that the movement of the pen or the glass did. But it also demands specificity, because you see, most complaints come from an emotional side, which tend to be non-specific. Or when you corner somebody else, like they did with you, they begin to get flustered. They didn't expect it, and suddenly their mind, their brain goes in many directions, and it's very hard for them to get specific. You see, now they have to defend themselves while you remain composed. It's exactly a reversal of the situation. And blitz second, you stay in control, and they now have to defend themselves. If you want to become more effective under pressure, think strategically, and communicate with authority, then subscribe to this channel. Every week I publish videos on these topics and others to help you be as effective and as powerful as possible. So now here's the sequence. First you have the sentence, hold on, can you tell me exactly what happened? And then you follow it up with, yes, but what specifically is the outcome you're looking for here? Now that is a real killer, because you've now pulled away from whatever happened in the past and made it rooted in the here and now. Specifically, you're calling into question the intelligence or the appropriateness of bringing something like this up in a meeting. And what exactly is the outcome? It's important to say the outcome, because it gets away from a discussion of you did this, you did that, which, look, you can spend most of a meeting describing what somebody should have done, as opposed to what is the outcome you're looking for. And finally, the coup d'etat, the final cherry on the cake, is when you say, hold on, why don't I explain how I see it? You're coming from a position of authority and power. You spent several minutes making sure that this person does no longer hold the room, and you now have control of the room because you're asking a very specific question that is authoritative. It's not like, God, I got to tell you what I have to do, or you're rushing and being impulsive. You've actually chosen your words wisely. Now, in my experience, actually, it's very rare that somebody in a meeting attacks another colleague. That already sometimes looks questionable. But it does happen, and it often happens with women who have to defend themselves. But in my case, what it is all about is not domination. You're not trying to dominate a room. You're trying to keep the room emotionally on your side. You're trying to make sure that the conversation is logical and contained and is businesslike. And that's the motivation, because you have one sentence, one pause, and one shift in the temperature of the room. And that is all it takes.